Hey creatives, welcome back to my channel. This is Sammy Says Create, and this is a channel where I do all sorts of DIY and creative projects, and I bring you along for the ride. So today's video is a great gift idea for any of you fab music lovers out there, or you don't even have to give it as a gift, just keep it for yourself. We are gonna upcycle some records. All we hear, Radio Gaga. So roll those titles. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways in which you can upcycle vinyl records and you can turn them into something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more exciting. So what I love about these is they all have their own kind of characters. Each one's slightly different. It also gives you the opportunity to make a really personal gift to someone as well. If you know there's a certain artist that they like, you can find a record from that artist and create them something new and practical out of one of their records. Obviously, I do not recommend that you go rooting through someone's personal record stash and melting their records without asking prior permission. These ones that I've got on the table here, I got in a job lot from eBay. I got 12 records in total, completely random records. It cost me about £6 and that was including postage as well, so that's really great. Charity shops, thrift stores, stuff like that is also a really good way of getting hold of these super cheap. So all you really need is your records. There are a couple of different methods of molding these and making these become more pliable. I will show you both ways that I've seen. One way is using boiling hot water. You will just need quite a deep dish. The other way is by popping them in the oven. The last thing that I'm going to show you is how to make a clock out of one of these records. You will just need a clock mechanism like this. You can get hold of these quite easily on eBay, on Amazon. I think this one cost me about £3 or £4. Just before we jump into the video, just a big shout out to my friends over at Zero Fox who have created these awesome earrings. I spotted them and I knew I was going to do this video and I was like, you literally cannot get anything more perfect. They are amazing. I will pop a link to them in the description box and I highly recommend you go and check them out. So what are we waiting for? On to the tutorial. So just for the sake of pre-warning people and health and safety, this upcycle will include the use of hot things, and no, that's sadly not Chris Hemsworth. It is recommended that you do wear gloves when undertaking this, which is something I didn't do, so please do as I say, not as I do. So to begin my record upcycling, I found a baking dish that was wide enough for me to be able to submerge my records into the hot water. I poured in boiling hot water straight out the kettle. That's really important. It has to be super hot. I then grabbed the record that I wanted to bend and submerged it into the water. So this is harder to explain than it is to demonstrate. So I'm kind of just pushing the record down into that water, and the heat of it is making it become quite pliable, and I'm able to put the pressure on it in order to bend it to get that shape that we need for the bookends. I realised in order for the bookends to be able to stand up, I had to bend it a little bit further up. So you can see here that I tried again and it's a little bit closer to the centre this time. You can see me here flicking between using my fingers and the table just to hold that bend into position. It hardens super quick, so you have to be really fast with this. Again, I am not using gloves. I should have been using gloves. I did find that this wasn't too hot for my hands, but everyone's different, so please be careful and wear gloves. I did this with 2 records and bent them approximately in the same place so that they would stand the same height. And I found that I did have to reboil the kettle a few times to do this, so the second the water started cooling down just a tiny bit, it just wasn't hot enough. So I was just popping the water into our washing up bowl so that way it wasn't getting wasted, or you could technically just reboil the same set of water. And there you have some completed bookends. Fabulous way of displaying your university textbooks if you are me. Our second record upcycle is a record bowl. So you're going to need a baking dish or something that can go in the oven that's slightly smaller than your record so you can pop it on top. For starters, preheat your oven to a really low heat. This does not need to be high at all. Then pop your baking dish with your record in the oven. You can tell it's done when the edges start to go a bit ruffled like this. Take it out and very quickly push the record into the bowl. So obviously you do have to make sure that this is a round bowl. Again, I am using a towel here, tea towel, so it's better than no gloves at all. It can be quite hot, so just be careful. But I'm not joking when I say it literally takes a couple of minutes, if that's, and make sure you're keeping an eye on it the whole time. Now I will admit I was a bit concerned about plastic fumes when it came to this, but it takes literally minutes, so it doesn't need to be in the oven for ages, and I just made sure that I only did it a couple of times. I didn't go overboard with it. And I also left the oven open for a couple of hours after I was done just to make sure it was all aired out. And me and my family had tuna pasta bake for tea the other night, and we are still here to tell the tale, so hopefully it should be okay. If you are concerned though, I do think you can get the same effect from the water bath if you have something that's big enough in order to submerge the whole record underneath. And as easy as that, we have our record bowls. I really wasn't joking, guys, when I said this was so easy. I absolutely love that each one of these will come out different. No two bowls will be the same. And it is believed that plastic isn't too great to be storing your food in, so I would recommend if you're storing food items in these that they are wrapped food, like sweets or something like that, but they make great little bowls for just trinkets around the house. And our upcycle number 3 is probably the most easiest out of all of these upcycles. We are going to turn this record into a clock. Like mentioned previously, you will need a clock mechanism, which you can see here, and at this point I had grabbed something sticky just to stick it to the back of the record, but I actually didn't need it. So the way that my clock mechanism worked was that I was actually able to just screw it straight through the hole in the centre of the record. If you can't do this and the clock mechanism is smaller than the hole in the record and it is a little bit loose, then either use some glue gun, this is a sticky pad that I was going to use, or even blue tack if you want the ability to be able to take the clock mechanism off the record at a later date. So here I am just screwing that clock mechanism into the record. And then here's me trying to figure out what goes in what order here. There are a couple of like washers and screw type things as well, which I think needed to go on first. And then the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand all went on top. So the second hand is what fixes it all together. I'm not gonna lie though, that second hand was a right pain in the bottom. I was there for a while. I popped a battery in the back, and voila, a ticking clock. I was so excited to see it actually working. I have no idea why I doubted myself so, but it looks awesome and it's so simple, and if I wasn't having a problem with a pesky second hand, then it would have been done in like 30 seconds. And here you have an upcycle gift that can be personalised, all for the cost of literally like £5. It's amazing. And that concludes our upcycled records. So there you have it, some amazing things that you can do with vinyl records in order to upcycle them and do something more exciting with them. Oh, my books are falling. It's great for yourself, it's great for a gift, or even if you're just having a bit of a retro kind of party. It If you have enjoyed this video, please do make sure you show me some love and like it down below. Hit the subscribe button and the notification button, and that way you will get a ding every time I upload a new video. Pop me a comment down below if you think this has gone really well, and let me know what kind of records you would like to do this with. Follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing during the week. And until next Thursday, keep creative!